Actually, that'd be a good question to capture. From a missionary standpoint, progress is little by little, very, very slow, seemingly non-existent at times. How do you respond to that, as you're taking in that reality? What is the correct heart posture to have in order to move forward and push through?
It's hard, I think. I think it's too much for some people, because there is this sense of hopelessness and lostness and pain all around you, and you see this oppressive culture and these hurting people, and you really want to do something about it, but you can't. I can't reach everyone, I can't talk to everyone, I can't hug everyone, and so what do you do? And that's your question, right? What do you do?
The population of Japan is 127 million. It's a country of efficiency, organization, and discipline. Their cities are clean and quiet. Many consider Japan to be the most technologically advanced country in the world. They manufacture some of the world's most popular vehicles, computers, cameras, and other electronics. Their crime rates are low, their employment rates are high. The people have an extremely strong work ethic and are welcoming, polite, friendly, and punctual. As a result, Japan offers some of the best customer service in the world.
Yeah. You don't want to eat that.
To me, it's for show.
It is for show.
Do it, Jesse. There you go. Eat it.
Yeah, this is obviously not.
I want you to go look at it.
I'm Jesse. I'm the one holding the raw shrimp. I'm one of the founders and executive pastor at Heart of the City Church in Anchorage, Alaska. A year and a half before now, the Lord put the country of Japan and the Japanese people on my heart. After researching Christian missions work in Japan, I came across the Christ Bible Institute and reached out to Will Ruck.
You can peel that off and you can eat all the insides in there, all the gooey bits and the internal organs. Sure, why not? You want to eat it, you eat it.
That's Will, sitting next to me. He is a missionary here in Nagoya, Japan.
I had a friend in college who was Japanese, and he was just like, hey, you want to go to Japan for the summer? Instead of trying to raise some money for this summer-long mission trip, I just sold my car and bought a plane ticket. So I came here kind of on a lark, and God really broke my heart here.
A few years after that, he and his wife, Mary Jo, moved to Nagoya, where they decided to become full-time missionaries. They've been here for the past 8 years and have 2 daughters, Nora and Judy. The guy encouraging me to eat the shrimp is Lonnie, also from Anchorage. He is the young adults pastor at Heart of the City Church.
Me, I'm a people person. Whenever I get in the conversation and talking with people about people, there's just something in me that just erupts. It just gets excited. My heart starts beating. That's a passion of mine, just dealing with people. I'm gonna take a picture with this guy.
He's an extrovert, very outgoing, a people person for sure.
Where's your ship head?
I'm not at stake here. We're not talking about me.
But you're next.
We're talking about you.
So what exactly is the purpose of our trip to Japan? What we're going over there to do on this trip specifically is to really engage with the culture and begin to learn about the Japanese culture. We also want to learn what missionary work is already going on and kind of get a feel for the strategy and what exactly they're trying to do to reach the Japanese people. And we also want to learn what the needs are and what it looks like for us as Heart of the City to be involved in the work that's going on over there.
Safe. You're good over there. We'll pray for you guys. Hold up.
We're not even in Japan yet, and we're already having these crazy cultural experiences.
Can you stand up?
What?
I told him look for a black dude and 2 white dudes.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming out, man.
No problem.
I'm trying to figure out how we're going to get through this day on 36 hours no sleep.
But come up to the door, never stand in front of the door, stand to either side of the door, let people get off, and then you get on from the sides. Stand on the left and walk on the right. It's different in different parts of Japan. But there's definitely a standing side and a walking side.
It's a whole nation of people that are in order. It would be impossible to pull this off in America.
Favorite thing about living in Japan, I mean, I really love the convenience of it. Like, that's a really big thing. Just like having an efficient, well-designed world around you. Yeah, there's things that aren't so great, but like, there's purpose behind a lot of things. And I find that satisfying. How people can live stacked on top of one another like this is by kind of shutting people out and ignoring interaction. I think that's one thing that makes ministry here so hard, is that people have this barrier that they live with all the time, separating them from everyone else. And so try and penetrate that is really, really difficult.
My chopstick game is on point.
The food is phenomenal.
Delicious.
Packed with flavor. Feels like good quality ingredients.
You know what I love the most is like the service here. It's on a different level.
Oh, and guess what? You don't have to tip. It's amazing. You can't tip. We're gonna head to Nagoya on a bullet train. I think we will all probably pass out.
Can't go wrong with dark chocolate, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
We are in our beds, ready for some sleep. Tomorrow we're gonna talk to some pastors, talk to some more missionaries, and really start digging into this thing. We're looking forward to it. We as a church back home wanted to just come to Japan and really learn by engaging on a very personal level. So being able to talk to you is immensely valuable for us.
理由を調べてきたんだけど、もう実際に日本に来て、Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
This is Ken and his wife, Ayako. They both became Christians after encounters with missionaries. Today, Ken is a pastor of a church of 25, and Ayako works at CBI. How do Japanese people, how do they deal with hard times?
なんかその日本人はそういう大変なことがあったら基本的にはどんなこと？
自分のせいにするか人のせいにするかじゃないですか。
Maybe they blame someone or blame themselves. Japanese people are not good deal with the suffering, so they just keep having those things. Then they become depression and they kill themselves.
Is that something that people often talk about, like stuff that they're going through and why they feel depressed, or is it something that's kind of like hush hush, no one talks about it?
It's hard to talk. They try to hide.
男性は難しいかな、特に。
Especially men, they don't talk.
そう、日本の文化を捨てなきゃいけないと考えている。
So some Japanese people think when you become a Christian, you have to, you cannot have Japanese culture anymore. So when they become a Christian, but their parents are not Christian, but they are Buddhism, then they feel like, oh, they have to leave the house, or they have to, they cannot attend any family events because it's related to Buddhism culture.
So, for example, 自分の場合、自分の父親は第二次世界大戦に行っている世代。
So for him, his dad went to the World War II.
そう、父親にとっては敵国の宗教。
So for him, for his dad, Christianity is the enemy's religion. And I think many Japanese people think European religion or American religion. Sometimes, like a missionary shared the gospel and Japanese people say, "Oh, I want to know that and I want to accept," but their real heart they don't accept.
受け入れるって言った方があの人が喜ぶからとか。
So they think, when they say, "Oh, I want to know," then it makes the missionary happy. Japanese Christian, their faith lasts only 3.5 years. Even they become Christian, but they left church or they left their faith.
CBI is located within a few minutes walk of the busiest station in Nagoya.
So every summer we have interns here, and one of the exercises we do with them when they first come is be like, we'll come to somewhere like this and we'll ask them to count 100 people. Out of those 100 people that you counted, maybe one of them is a Christian or knows about the gospel. When I first came to Japan in 2006, I went to a grocery store. The lady at the register was like, "Do you speak English?" I was like, yeah, I speak English. And she said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." The normal question, what's your name? What are your hobbies? Where are you from? And she asked me one, she's like, "Where are you staying?" And so I said, "Well, I'm staying at a church." And she kind of looks at me funny and she's like, "What's a church?" And I'm like, well, her English isn't very good, so I assume she didn't really know the word, like just the vocabulary. So I was like, "Well, a church is where Christians go." And she kind of looks at me and she's like, "What's a Christian?" This woman, probably in her 30s, in a country with freedom of the press, with uncensored internet, with just a fully industrialized, connected nation with the rest of the world, and she'd never heard of the gospel. And it really broke my heart in that moment. And it was one of those moments where I thought, like, this is something I can do something about. Yeah, so the gates are going to open up, and you'll stand on either side. They used to not have these gates, but they kind of discovered, there was a study years and years ago, and they said that putting up gates like this actually cut the suicide rate down drastically because people would throw themselves in front of the train.
There are numerous Buddhist and Shinto temples and shrines throughout the country of Japan. This is one of the older ones in Nagoya.
This is such a part of Japanese culture and history, and it's extremely tied into everything that they are and everything they find their identity in. And inside there you can buy your fortunes or give an offering. When a Japanese person becomes a Christian, we really kind of like start to lay out the concept that this is idol worship, and there's only one God. And the Butsudan is a shrine that you put in your home. For a lot of people, what it is you're putting sacrifices to your ancestors for favor on it, and like that's obviously not okay. And a lot of people say, well, it helps me remember my family. Like it's got pictures of my grandparents, my great-grandparents on it. I don't put anything on the altar; it just sits there. And that's kind of where it gets to be a little bit more of a gray area. But I don't think it's as simple as saying, if you become a Christian, you have to throw away your Butsudan. If you become a Christian, you can never set foot in a temple. But it's something that we all need to talk about. It's a discussion that needs to happen and a decision that we need to make. Like one of the hardest things about ministry here in Japan is talking about the concept of sin, because there's so many things that like we, from a Western culture, can kind of look at and say, that's sinful. Here, they don't necessarily have that same opinion. They're like, that's just what we do. That's what I want to do. Like, why should I not, look at pornography whenever I want to? Why should I not have a mistress? We take the concept of sin for granted a lot. Let's showtime dancing all night.
Let's showtime dancing?
That's called English. When I was a kid, we went on these mission trips to Mexico and we built houses for homeless people. It was an extremely physical show of love. Like we were giving not just our money, but our skills. And like here, they don't need anything physical from us. You can't come here and try and set up some sort of aid ministry. You can't come and give them anything physical. We come with the gospel.
That's what I was gonna say, the gospel.
That's all we have with us. That's all we can give. And I think that can be difficult.
Hi in Japan means yes. So I'm walking around the Japanese people thinking I'm being polite, saying hi when I come across an absolute idiot. So in America, I'd be like, hi, how's it going? In Japan, I'm saying hi, and all I hear is this big black guy walk past me going, yes, 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 yes. So it's a learning experience.
Will also works at a church called Mustard Seed. They're 7 years old and have a congregation of 130 people.
This is a place where when you start a church, you're not going to open the doors and just have people walk in. In America, there is somewhat of a context of like, oh, I'm looking for a church. 99% of the people here in this country aren't looking for a church.
Jared has been in Japan since 2008. He is one of the founders of Mustard Seed Church.
There's been missionaries in Japan since the 1500s. Yeah, I mean, look at the Philippines, look at China, you look at South Korea. All these areas around Japan, like at some point have had this big, like, revival. Japan's right in the center of that and nothing's ever happened. We have people still, 7 years into this, nearly every single Sunday there's someone coming to this building and it's the very first time they've ever been in a church.
You know, I think a good question that I've been challenged to think through in preparing sermons here is, how do I preach as though I'm preaching to this neighborhood right here?
Chad has been working as a pastor at Mustard Seed since 2014.
I think the way we do that in Japan is we don't assume knowledge beforehand. I know I can talk to you and I can say the word God, and you and I have a shared understanding of what that means, what it is as a concept, and what that idea is from a biblical standpoint. We can't assume that in this context when so many of the concepts of sin, of just core basic Christian beliefs and theology, no one's ever heard of, no one knows the idea of, or anything about. If I was talking to an American, I'd say, so what do you think about God, that idea? I mean, tell me your thoughts, right? That's a very American way of asking. You, tell me what you think. We say in this context, what have you heard people say about God? And so truth and what people think and believe is based on the group more than their own individual. I'm not the base of knowledge. The group informs my knowledge.
You're in this place where it is more of a communal like thinking. You know, people think about the group. You want to be the best version of yourself so that it actually doesn't affect the group. You know, if you do something and get hurt, you're going to have to apologize to the group because you made them worry, type of thing. And the best way you can love the people in your group is to be the best disciple of Jesus you can be. We're not here to make Japanese people become something different. We're here to let the gospel transform people's hearts and redeem hearts, and for a Japanese way of thinking to become gospel-centered Japanese way of thinking.
What we hear a lot is you really have to be patient with individuals and build a relationship and you know, take things very slow. And we're kind of hearing that and going, why? Like, why can't we just boldly, you know, and lovingly and gracefully engage with someone and just go straight to that level?
You are coming from a culture where that's a value. Like I'm gonna walk up to you and talk to you. I'm gonna walk up to you and tell you something. I'm gonna be direct. I'm gonna say what it is that I want to say.
And we were talking about that on the way here, the ambiguity built into the language, because that directness is not something that's valued in this culture as much. So like the grammar and the language and stuff and the way that people use it is ambiguous.
And so if we're not careful, we'll come in and we will impose our cultural values and our distinctives on other people. But if we slow down and we go, okay, what can I learn? What can I see? What's working? You've got a bit better traction for success if you do that. There are people here who are born, live, and die never hearing about who Jesus is. Where you are standing and where we are right now, nearly every single person in every single one of those buildings, walking on the streets, are on their way to a Christless eternity.
I've been wondering, you know, is there any cases in your circle where there's a Japanese person who is converted and becomes a powerful influence to his own communities?
There was one woman who was in our church. She was just on fire to tell people about the gospel, to invite people to church. She was always just like sharing and telling. You know, before she became a Christian, she was really depressed and she was hopeless and she was really oppressed by work culture. And the gospel was was this amazing light to her, and it lifted this burden from her. And she said that it was so liberating, she can't help but want to share it because she sees her fellow countrymen in the same position.
Yeah, it seems like that multiplied, hundreds of times over, that seems to be the most impactful thing that could happen in a community.
Yeah.
On our day trip to the Yahagi Dam, we learned two things. One, that Lonnie is terrified of heights.
About what?
I don't mess with heights.
Oh, you don't?
Nope.
You're going to have to come over here if you want to read that.
It's fun right here.
Bus.
I'm not going that far over. Don't think try to trick me. Right here. Right here. Hello. Hi.
And two, the answer to our short-term missions question. What place does short-term missions have in Japan? Or we might as well ask specifically about Nagoya, CBI, even mustard seed.
Sometimes, like, short-term missions just turns into church tourism. Like, I was guilty of that when I came, like, the second time. Like, we were like, we want to visit lots of missionaries. And so we just kind of bopped around all these different cities, showed up for a day or two, and then left. And we tried to be, like, helpful and life-giving, but the more I think about it, the more of a burden I was to them than anything else. I think the most important thing with short-term missions is come on purpose and come extremely intentional. That's just really important.
On our walk to dinner, we come across this statue of a kappa. Will explains.
This is like a water spirit, and they say they live in the water and they drag children underwater. Some people would argue that like these myths grow out of like a sense of wanting to teach children rules, like don't play next to water. But you'll see right behind it here, there's a small local shrine back here too. You can walk back in here and they'll throw change up into the shrine.
Why do they? It's just like a.
It's an offering to the ancestors and the spirits that live here. So this is a small, independently run, traditional sushi restaurant. They've probably been working up until just now, maybe. They come here and eat some sushi and get hammered.
In cultures, they just get drunk, hammered, go home.
Oh, yeah.
And do it the next day.
Yeah. It's really common for people just to work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then go out to the bar until 10 or 11 o'clock. If you fulfill your family obligations, like providing for a home and money and things like that, then whatever you do outside of that is generally acceptable in people's hearts. It doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel right, but culture and society and the group thing is saying this is okay. They're doing what they should be doing. And so there's this there's dichotomy, the feel and what the group mind is telling you. When people first see Japanese culture, they see all these bright spots, and they see all these things that are worthy of praise, and there are lots of those things, but there's also a lot of just personal oppression in people's lives.
Of course, absolutely.
So, he's saying no.
No.
So.
No.
The Japanese also seem more than happy to help confused foreigners avoid embarrassment or injury. Another bright spot, for sure.
So don't eat the head.
Domo arigatou gozaimasu. I'm out.
Man, that would have been a good one.
It's the hentai fight, man.
I'm just ready for you just to make a big old mess.
So, does everyone remember these two? Today, we're going to their school.
Hey, where are we going?
To my school.
Do you know, there's Catholic schools? It's kind of like that. I mean, basically, life in Japan is most things have Buddhist or Shinto overtones. There are some Buddhist yochins that are super they pray, they do worship type things. But here, we were told they don't do any of that stuff, and once a year, a Buddhist priest comes and talks to them, and so, this year we kept her home. Maybe in the future, we'll let her go, but we'll talk to her about it.
So this is Hina Matsuri, or the doll festival. Like a long time ago, they would take these dolls and put them on boats, and they would put them down the river, and they were supposed to draw away the evil spirits. And so nowadays, Hina Matsuri has kind of become girls' festival, and it's just a day where we celebrate girls.
What are you guys doing?
We have open mic night tonight at the cafe.
In the words of my stepmom, you look tired.
I am tired.
It's open mic night. Yeah, it's like a little open concert we have.
I'm down for anything. I could dance at her pop lock and dropping. It's big in these days over here.
You drop it, yeah.
If I drive out like it's hot.
Sharing a building with CBI, the Heart and Soul Cafe holds a variety of events that serve as outreach within the local community.
That's money. That's good. That's good. Well, my night was cool. I like it. I like the energy and the involvement and the togetherness and the fun and the joy. It's cool, man. I like it here. These are octopus balls. Hello. Hey! Hello, Heart of the City.
As was mentioned before, after long days of work, a lot of people tend to cut loose.
I'm gonna take a picture with this guy. Hey.
They're from Alaska.
Alaska?
He wants us to tell him when we put him on TV.
Okay.
He says you're definitely not gonna do it.
Hi.
You think your hand's really big.
Big hand.
Oh, hey, Dekai, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hey.
See you.
This is our last day, our last stop, and about where this story began.
We're in near Aokigahara. It's a sea of trees. The significance of this space, and I guess what's been popularized over time, has been the fact that this is a place where people go to commit suicide. People wander off into the forest to end their lives. And this is a very tangible, real part of the culture here. I mean, look at all the crevices and rocks and the rough terrain. You could lay down in a little crack somewhere and no one ever finds your body.
Progress is seemingly non-existent at times. What is the correct heart posture to have in order to move forward and push through?
Like, I can't reach everyone, I can't talk to everyone, I can't hug everyone, and so, like, you know, what do you do? And that's your question, right? What do you do?
Yeah.
And it's the question we ask ourselves. But I think the right heart posture is one of faithfulness and trust. Because, like, I know I can't do everything, but God is good. He's powerful over everything.
I know in a place like this, there's a lot of small steps and a lot of small wins that are happening. I love it that God looks at the heart of us. And not just me, but even the people on Reach, and He's looking at the heart and celebrating the small steps in their journey. I love it that God meets us that are here, and that's something that's big and resonates with me, especially this last season in life. And He meets people exactly where they are. And I know it's probably tough at times, and you probably sometimes have the thoughts like, what the heck am I doing? Like, this is not even working, you know, and you can't help but to have those thoughts. But just keep pushing, and you don't know the seed that you planted or the seed that you watered or the pruning that you're doing. We don't see it, but it's happening.
Father, we love you. We're here today to really take a look at the reality of the situation here in Japan and the Japanese people. We're asking that you would impress the need upon our hearts and give us a faithful response, Lord.
Dear God, I just I thank you for your love, oh Father. I'm excited. I'm excited that the gospel works. You love people. It doesn't matter what they believe or what they look like or where they're from or what their philosophy is. You still died for all people, Father. So I thank you for that.
Lord, I thank you for these men here. When we come before you humbly, and I ask for wisdom for all of us. Father, I pray for this space. Lord, I pray that you'd redeem this place, this forest, this country, for your glory. Amen.
Amen.